Good morning. Welcome back. Our coronavirus has come back again, third time, and our cinemas closed down the other day again, at least for a week. They told us everything's going to be closed for a week, so let's see what happens. So originally there was only going to be one new film opening, Peninsula, a South Korean disaster film. Very prescient, I understand. I haven't seen it because the press screening was supposed to be the night before they closed down the cinemas, so the distributors said, forget it. So hopefully it'll happen in a couple weeks and I'll be able to talk about it. We'll see what happens. It's actually a distributor that doesn't like me, and we had a falling out a while back. So they usually don't invite me to their screenings. But anyhow, okay. So with that, I had to turn my attention back to the streaming services. Unfortunately, there's some good stuff that's coming out, that has come out in the past week or so. And the first film I want to talk about is Relic. It's an Australian film. It's a drama, horror, thriller, family, a little bit of everything film. And it's about getting old, sort of. Well, yeah, it's about a darkness that's inside of all of us that seems to take over our brains when we get older. And the other day I heard this. I was listening to the radio and I heard that Paula Abdul has made a commercial for an over-the-counter medication that people are taking for aches and pains. I've taken that product on occasion. It's a good product. But that's where we are in 2020, where 80s pop stars are pitching stuff for old people. And as I said, at least I take the medicine from time to time, but at least my that still works. At least I hope it does. But the same cannot be said for Edna, who's played by Robin Nevin. She's the matriarch in director and co-writer Natalie Eric James's debut feature, Relic. And now Edna, as I've implied, she's starting to lose her mind. But the matter is not as straightforward as it first seems. As the movie opens, Kay, her daughter, is, and she's played by Emily Mortimer. She was most recently in Mary Poppins Returns. She's a middle-aged Melbourne woman, and she gets called to her mother's rambling country home after a neighbor reports that to the police that he hasn't seen the old woman in a few days. Now, Kay hasn't spoken to Edna in a few weeks, so she brings along her daughter Sam, played by Bella Heathcote. And Bella she did wonderful work in Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. Great film. If you haven't seen it, great film. Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. So she brings along her daughter Sam, ostensibly for the company, but probably more for the emotional support that she expects that she'll need. Now, the old woman, it turns out, has disappeared, but she shows up at home a couple days later, or I guess the next morning perhaps, and when she does, something's just not quite right. There's times where she's perfectly lucid and loving, and other times where she's irrational and angry. And while Kay and Sam chalk up Edna's behavior to early onset dementia, it may be something more than that. Edna has developed a large, dark bruise right in the middle of her chest that she can't explain. Now, I know old people, they get bruised and they can't explain where they get them from. But there's also a black mold that seems to be taking over the walls of her home. Now, that's all I'll talk about in the film. Now, Relic is a fairly enjoyable horror flick. She's Erica, what's her name? Natalie Erica James. She's written a well-written story that slowly builds in tension. It doesn't rely on a lot of jump scares or characters making dumb decisions for effect. So I thought, it's an intelligently written film. Horror film, which I appreciate. Now, the film is on the other side. Unfortunately, the film is reminiscent of another Australian film called The Babadook from a few years back, and it also deals with this monster that's inside all of us. And I'd say, comparing the two films, and people would I'd say this one's not as good as the Babadook, so that's a little unfortunate. But here, the performances are all good, particularly that of Nevin. She hasn't had a big film career, but her career has been mostly on the stage, and she was for quite a while the artistic director of the Sydney Theatre Company. Now, I think what you'll do, I know I was, you'll find yourself wavering from feeling sorry for Edna to getting completely creeped out by her. She does a wicked stare. Unfortunately, the film's ending has proven to be divisive with audiences, and some people are calling it a bit of a cop-out. And I'd say I'm one of those people. I didn't really enjoy the ending. I thought I was a little bit disappointed by the ending. But you know what? Not so horrible. Critics, though, are loving this film more so than audiences. I thought it was well made. I wasn't wowed by it. I enjoyed it. It was good. But if it was me, if I was in this situation, I would have brought out a bottle of spray bleach right away. You know, if there's mold, I'll spray that little sucker. And I certainly wouldn't have stuck around for as long as Kay and Sam did. But guilt can be a powerful motivator. So, you know what? Decide for yourself if you want to see it. Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. And look for a first effort. It's quite good. So, you know, it's currently available on Amazon Prime, iTunes, and a few other VOD platforms. So that is Relic from Australia. The other film I'm going to talk about is an American film called Palm Springs. You may have heard about this. It sold, or Hulu bought it for some, what was it? $17.5 million. It set a record. It set a record for purchases for that. I wish I knew the exact what it was, but it sold for a lot of money. And Hulu bought it. And Hulu really has not really been in the game, in the streaming game, as of yet. But I guess this is their way of saying, we're here and start watching us. So in this new coronavirus reality where each day looks remarkably similar to the last, I mean, I went to bed last night thinking, what day is this today? I don't even know anymore. The release of Andy Samberg's newest film is not only prescient, but it's a welcome 90-minute escape from reality. Now, in the movie Palm Springs, Niles, who's Andy Samberg's character, his girlfriend, Misty, played by Meredith Hagner, she was in Irrational Man, and she's in a TV series called Search Party, which I have to admit I've never heard of, because I don't watch television. Well, I don't want to say I don't watch television. I'm not a regular television. I don't own a television. Let's put it that way. And I don't watch a lot of television. Now, Misty is a bridesmaid at Tala and Abe's destination wedding at a Palm Springs resort. And on this happy day, everyone is busy getting ready for the wedding, except Niles. He's chilling by the pool. And at the wedding, he arrives in the same clothes he's been wearing all day, and he seems to have this uncanny knack of knowing exactly what's going to happen next. His unconventional behavior catches the eye of Tala's older sister, Sarah, played by Grammy winner Kristen Milotti. People might know her from TV's How I Met Your Mother. And she's clearly faking her happiness for her sister. The pair takes off for the desert, and everything is going well until Roy, played by J.K. Simmons, people know him, of course, from the latest Spider-Man franchise, La La Land, Whiplash, lots of films that he's been in. And now he suddenly shows up dressed as a Halloween ninja, and he shoots Niles with a bow and arrow. Now, seriously injured, Niles heads for a nearby cave. Sarah follows, and there she encounters a strange cosmic force. And the next thing she knows, she wakes up in her bed at the resort. Outside her room, she can hear everyone getting ready for the wedding. And that's all I'll say about the film. About the story. Now, the comparison to Groundhog Day is obvious, but Palm Springs writer Andy Sierra puts 3 characters on the hamster wheel of infinite time instead of just one. But he makes a reference to Groundhog Day, or it's not even a but, it's an and, it's a tongue-in-cheek reference. He makes a reference to that comedy classic when Sarah tells Niles she's going to do something selfless because she thinks it'll get her out of this time loop. Now, Niles, who's been stuck in limbo for who knows how long, I don't even know if he knows how long, he already knows that resistance is futile, and he's just resigned himself to making the best of a bad situation. Roy, meanwhile, wants revenge. Now, Sandberg Films will no doubt love this film. I put Sandberg in the same box as Adam Sandler, but I'll admit I enjoyed his performance here. I'm not a fan of his, but I thought, okay, it was okay here. Melody, though, she's the film star. She gets the movie's biggest laugh. She was the best part of this film. Now, before the pandemic hit, Melody was working on a new TV series called Made of Love. It's not out yet, so that's why you haven't seen it on TV. And when we ever get out of this time loop, I'm going to check it out. So, when we ever get out of it. Now, Palm Springs, you can watch it exclusively on Hulu. That's the only place where it's showing right now. So if you've got it, you can watch it. If you don't have it, you can't watch it. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about. That was short and sweet. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. Oh, next week I'll talk about Greyhound because I'm going to watch that over the weekend. But I don't know what else I'm going to talk about, because I don't know if our cinemas are going to be open or closed. Check it out. Meantime, you can check out my written reviews on my website, howard4film.com. Howard, F-O-R-film.com. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Please remember to wear your mask. I don't know why people are still arguing about this. Wear your masks. See ya.